So tonight we're here for the business strategy session, specifically talking about CRMs, right? And so I'm not going to read through all of this. You all can have a look at it and I can share it with you after. The biggest thing that I want to really highlight about today is this, why we're here. So this idea of CRMs is such a big one that it's not realistic for us to have the expectation that after one session, we're all going to leave and be like, oh, I had an epiphany. I know everything. Everything is great. I'm going to do all of it. It's not really how it's, at least the expectation that I have. So hopefully I'm not bursting your bubble. So instead, the objective is for us to be able to leverage the time that we have together tonight to move the needle tonight. And then, hint, we're going to reconvene in about a month to see how everybody's doing because it is a process. So tonight we're going to talk through a bunch of strategy and some tactical things, but the objective is for us to work together as a group so that we can all move the needle on this, not one or two of us, but all of us be able to do this kind of together, which is why we're in a workshop format, even though it's strategy session, it's, workshoppy. So here's what it is. The reasons that we're all here, everybody, you all filled out the questions or the answers to the questions when you registered. Basically, everybody had very similar responses. Either I have the tools, but it's too cumbersome. I haven't figured out a good system to be consistent, or I haven't started yet. I don't know where to start. So we're going to jump right into it. So here's the quick overview. We're going to attempt to get through all 5 of these things today. We'll see how we do. Basically, who, what, where. We're going to talk about a routine. And then I'm going to show you a simple starter template that I have you could use or riff from. But first, the most important part, introductions, right? Because content, I've had this conversation, I think, like 5 times today. The content we can now get anywhere, but being able to kind of work on it and kind of digest it together in conversation is really what we're about, is the overlap of those two things. So it's helpful if everybody has an opportunity to have some context about who else is here. Because also, another hint, in the meantime, it's encouraged for you to, reach out to 1 or 2 other people that are here tonight to, help hold each other accountable, or to if somebody says something tonight that you jive with, to reach out to them and see how they're doing, and then also ask others for help as well. That's what we're all here for, me included. So let's go through and do some quick introductions. And I think, it's always tricky because I feel like I want everybody to do like a full on big intro, but then we do the math, we realize, great, then we'll have 15 minutes left for CRM. It's like, it's a hard one. So let's go through and we'll just go in order of when you arrived tonight at our meeting destination. And just do a quick intro, your name and where you're based, and then what industry you work in. So go right at it. You guys know the sequence, or whoever, jump in, unmute, and introduce.
Jillian, it might be you if you just pick somebody, because I don't know the.
I'm gonna go, Mark. I'm gonna go for it. I'll just do it.
Terry was
So my name's
actually
Terry.
first. Yeah.
Well, and then I left. But anyway,
Yeah.
so my name is Terry. I'm based in Amsterdam, and I am in human resources. So, do human resources consulting. That's what I do. Nice to see everyone.
Super.
All
All right, Markel.
Cool. So Markel Blunt, old friends with Jillian up in Boston, Massachusetts. Now currently living in Atlanta. I focus on funding large scale sort of infrastructure, commercial real estate type projects, and expanding from the US to now trying to be this sort of global entrepreneur. So networking and connecting and is all I do and all I focus on, until a really good CRM process is wildly important. And I have not come close to mastering this. So I'm excited to go through this journey with you guys.
Amazing. Inika.
Hey, I'm Annika. I'm based in Utrecht, the Netherlands, and I'm a podcast manager. And it's great to be here. And thank you for Jillian for organizing this.
This is from you. You're the first one that started making the fire, started rubbing the sticks together, and now poof, here we are. You see?
I'm excited to be diving in.
Yeah. Kath, where are you at, Kath?
I'm there.
Here you are.
I changed my name for you. I'm Kathy Seiko. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. Have been living in the Netherlands for 26 years now. Started out in marketing and business development, but then I switched to running my own business, English language teaching. And I'm really interested in figuring out how to keep track of my clients because I suck at it. So that's why I'm here.
All right.
Guess it's my
And
turn.
yep, Steven. Yep. Yep.
Hi, I'm Steven. I'm based in Estonia, but I'm originally from Belgium, from the Flemish part, so we can chat in Dutch if you want to. Um, I have a career coming from legal to consultancy to the past 13 years freelance translations. Um, you probably all know that this market has, kind of like there's no bottom in that market anymore. So I'm pivoting to strategic advice and trying to help companies build a workflow on how to do their translations and localization, which requires me to approach a different audience, different people in a different way. So I'm working on messaging, I'm working on positioning, and I'm also working on finding clients, lead generation, which is, to be honest, something I've never had to do before because all my work came via referrals and word of mouth. So this is a weird new world for me.
You're in the right place. I think many of us can identify with what you're saying. Yep. Cool. Glad you're here. And Haley.
Hey, I'm Haley, based in Alabama, and I'm a writer editor with background in copywriting. And I'm pivoting my business from being primarily driven by copywriting into more developmental editing and strategy for brands and content. So focusing on heart-centered brands, but also do a fair amount of work in B2B SaaS. So
Which is heart-centered also.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. So I'm so happy that you guys are here. This is a great group, and I think we're gonna have fun. And so the thing that I want to say about this is first, and this might sound cliche, but I've been thinking about it all day, that really it's like bravo to you, for each of you, for all of us, for carving out the time because life is so busy, right? But for taking the time to actually grab this thread and, kind of hunker down and work on it and to get this process started. It's a really big one. And I know for a lot of people, it just kind of gets kicked down, kick the can situation, never really get to it. So I think it's great that everybody's here tonight and we can work together, have fun, and like I said, move the needle on our individual and collective CRM situation. So here we go. All right. So the reason I'm bringing this up also is because of this thing I think of as the balance of truth and support, right? And what I mean by that is for me, I'm looking at you individually and again as a group, and I want everybody to have a really good experience, right? I want it to be fun and I want you to enjoy yourself and feel like it's a good use of your time, etc. But I also, like, maybe equally want you to have results, right? I want us all to have results from the things that we're doing. And so the reason I put this here is because I think it's important and it's also a precursor of what's to come later. I think it's one of the opportunities that we have in working together as a group on this. And so it's the kind of thing where um, you don't necessarily all have to individually agree to this or not, but this concept is, are you open to people sharing feedback with you or, pointing something out if they see something different, like a blind spot, or if you're really focused on something? Is it helpful if somebody else in the group says, hey, have you thought of X? Or I think you're really, maybe looking at it small or whatever the thing is. So I think this is kind of where we're going, is trying to encourage each other and hopefully this resonates and you're not like, no, I don't want that, Jillian. But I think it's like, for what resonates in wanting us to have good experience, but also really wanting to have results about this. And so I think the benefit is being able to lend feedback and perspectives of each other. So I'm leading this workshop. I've had a good amount of experience with CRMs, but I also encourage everybody to share and hopefully to feel comfortable to share with each other because the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Capiche? Yes? Maybe? Yeah, marvelous. Okay, so we're gonna jump right in. Number one, and also if you're in a place where it's quiet in your background, feel free to unmute so you can also chat or something too. It's okay. Um, Anyhow, so number one, we're gonna start off with is, and some of these things might sound really basic, but I encourage you, even if you think you know this, to try to have an open mind and work on it. And by the way, I'm also working on this alongside you because, yeah, I probably should have shared that. So here's my delayed intro quickly about CRMs and why I'm so, I love this topic. So quick point about this. So I had a really great CRM for a lot of years. It was a company based in Washington D.C. and they built a phenomenal tool called Contactually that I used for a lot of years. It was excellent, so excellent that eventually, guess what happened? They were acquired by a real estate company, and so I got booted and had to find a new one. And so that started the process of me trying to find something that would be suitable. I finally found actually the founder of Contactually started a new CRM. I tried them for a while, but there were just so many, it was very buggy and just not such a great, it didn't work out too well. So then I started to really dig deeper again. Now, previously, I've done a lot of CRM comparison work and consulting with clients. So I had that side of it, but then looking for something for myself. And what I found is so many of them are either bloated and or very expensive and or are all catered towards pipelines and sales driven, and not as much about relationship management, which is what I was looking for because I don't look at all of my relationships as potential sales situations, some of them, but not all of them. And it was really hard to find one. So as I continued to look through, it was quite a process. So to find, and then looking at which ones have access to a really good mobile app or which ones connect to LinkedIn. So I've had my own process and then finally did land on one that's been a great solution. So we're going to get to some of the different tools and whatnot in a few slides, I think number 4. But anyways, that's a quick bit about my update context and hopefully something relevant for you in the meantime. So number 1, who? Who do you want to track? So this is the first part. Yeah, getting specific helps. So we think, oh yeah, I need a CRM for my contacts. It's like, great. So who do you want to keep track of? Who wants to share? Anybody have any ideas off the top of your head? Do you feel like, oh, I know who I want to keep track of? What do you think, Stephen?
Yeah, I think I'm already bumping straight away in one of the issues I have with CRMs. I kind of like need I need a mix between a Rolodex of, you
I
know,
love
people I like, people who are ambassadors, people who support me, people just generally I want to stay in touch with. And then on the other hand, like leads, right? People who I kind of like potentially want to approach for business. So if you ask me who do I want to track, I want to track all of them,
Okay.
right?
Okay. All right. So this is fair. We're going to dig further into that. Let's jump into the action associated with this and then we'll reconvene. So let's start with this for a moment. And this is like literally for all of us to do this, right? So I'm going to set the timer. We're going to spend about 5-ish minutes and literally look at your calendar. So right now on your piece of paper, jot down like who are the contacts that you're thinking you want to keep in touch with, right? And then from there, somebody sent me a chat. Am I supposed to be checking that? Oh yeah. Okay. Thanks, Haley. I'll get that. Um, so yeah, look at jot down the groups of people that you think right now that you know you want to keep in touch with. And then we're gonna go into your calendar and just start working backwards. And just go. Maybe, go the past month or 2 months or something and see what meetings have you had? What events have you gone to? Maybe I would say look in your LinkedIn, but it's like come back. But just look in your phone, WhatsApp messages, you get the idea. To just see if the categories of people that you jotted down, like who, just maybe jot down the names or something just to get an idea or tallies or something like that. It's for you to see what types of who have you been in touch with in the last, however long you get, 2 months. So yeah, so we're going to start the timer. It's going to be 5 minutes and Don't fall asleep. Okay, everyone good? All right, I'm doing the same. Okay, so while people are finishing up, Terry, you gave a thumbs up?
Yes.
Okay.
I did. Yes. Yes.
All right, super. So when you first started, what did you jot down for categories?
I didn't really do categories. To be honest, I just put a bunch of names. I can categorize them now.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so a lot of them are people I've met through the Queer Business Club here in
Okay.
Amsterdam. You're also on the list. I think that's okay, right? Well, yeah, I want to keep in touch with you. I mean, you're important.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so I just kind of went through my calendar and I looked at the people I've either connected with or just had some conversations with. Um, so that was like the first thing I did. And then
Hmm.
from here, I'll categorize them from here. So,
Yeah.
but
That's a
all the
good thing
people
to
I've
do. Yeah.
and I feel like literally everybody I've met ultimately is someone that I would want to keep connected with and stay connected with. Whether and because I just have those people on this, so that's my guess my category is more like connections.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I'm not sure it does.
Yeah. No, so it's interesting. So when I started this, it's interesting how we all approach something a little bit differently. So for me, I jotted down categories because I thought of like who have I been in touch with and where have I been and like to try to figure out there's so many people like on any given
Yeah.
week or month. And I know Markel, you're also dealing with a lot of people. So I was like, how would I categorize these people?
Right.
So I did it that way. And so I think of how would I categorize them? And then we're going to go into some of the other things coming up in a moment, but that might be helpful for you to
Yes.
think about.
Okay.
And it could be, and I don't, yeah, I'm just giving some ideas. It could be, and kind of like Stephen was mentioning, even like, are these people that are potential, like, are they prospects or are they
Right.
potential referral partners? Are they just colleagues or peers or just friends or
Right.
just business friends or like how to think about these. So it's kind of like so sometimes we can start off with the individual people. Sometimes we think of the categories. Sometimes we think of like the function, if you will, like what is the nature of the relationship. And then we're gonna jump further into this. But anyway, who else?
I I did the categories, but I didn't realize they were categories. I was just grouping my groups together. Um, so I think my position is maybe like Stephen, where I am looking at leads, but like because I've never had to find clients. I've always I've always had referrals, and
Mhm.
now my family dynamics has changed. My kids are older. I'm able to work more, and I want to work more. So I'm having to get out my comfort zone. But like, yeah, I think I would have the different categories, and
Mhm.
people will be in one place as well as maybe being a lead. But I don't just want to follow leads. People have to know, like, and trust you before they can hire you, and they have to know you exist. At this point, I just want people to know I exist. I'm not actively identifying as people as leads necessarily. No idea.
So I have a quick question. Is anybody hearing that sound besides me?
Sorry.
What did you say? Say that again.
Nobody else is hearing this noise but me?
What sound is it? No, very real noise.
Oh, okay. So just sorry, I've never heard this. It was like a phone ringing in my audio. I have no idea where.
And for you were taking a digger when I had said, I was like, bro,
No.
what? Did I say?
Oh,
Did I get it that wrong?
no, I thought it was like your phone ringing in the background, and it's like, but you weren't flinching. So I'm like, oh, maybe it's not. Maybe it's me, but I don't know. Sorry about that distraction. Yeah, no, this is
Okay.
it's I think so this is part of it. So because of who we are, like our relationship and understanding and what we need from a CRM is going to be different, right? If we have a company we're dealing with or dealing with a team and we need to share contacts with our team, there's all these different layers of how contacts are organized and what type of access or permissions are available and all of that. But for those of us that are kind of managing our own companies, our own businesses, our own contacts, that we're going to have a different setup or different needs perhaps. Even a smaller business might have different needs where you're going to have a lot of like a lot of companies are only going to keep like prospects, customers, and maybe their centers of influence. Where us as people, we might choose to also have
Yeah.
our friends or each other or other categories of people.
Yeah.
So this is valid. And I think what Stephen was saying is probably going to be suitable for all or most of us, where we have, yes, business, but we also have other people that are friends and then the people that are in between. So I
There's
think
something to be said about having all the names in one place. Like Steven talked
yeah,
about his Rolodex. I had what was it called? Filofax, where you had all the business cards in these little plastic pages. You could see the people you knew that. And it was like, oh, I haven't spoken to this one in a while. I haven't spoken to this one.
yeah, yeah,
This is what I need.
absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So then we're going to keep going. Let's see here. 2. All right. So what info do you want to track? So now we have an idea of who. We're going to come back to it. But now we're going to talk about what info do you want to keep track of? Like look at use as a starting point the people that you jotted down or the categories. Sometimes the categories can help as well. What info do you want to record? Like what information should be accessible, right? What info do you need to have at your fingertips? So we'll spend a couple minutes also noodling on that. So while you're working on those for a second, Haley, I'm going to respond to your second chat. I saw about the Who is doing 4 categories of prospects. So you're open to a quick chat about that quickly?
Sure.
Are you thinking are you thinking of adding categories beyond just prospects? Because I see that like those are the services that you offer. But I think if you look more broadly, you've got prospects, and then what other categories of people might you want to keep in touch with?
Hmm. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the people in this list are people who might be just good for networking contacts, people who
Okay.
introduce me to clients, or potentially people who may want to outsource work to me.
Okay. So those are a couple of categories I heard. So you've got one that are known prospects, you've got one that are known referral sources, and then you've got others that are good just networking, kind of business peers, business colleagues. So I hear like 3 categories of people. Does that sound right
Yes.
with prospects? All right. I don't know if that's helpful to now think about because what information do you want to know? Probably for your prospects, you'll want to know more information about them than perhaps, or maybe not, than somebody you're perhaps networking with or what have you. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
Just as a food for thought.
Thank you.
Sure. All right. Does anybody have any questions or want to chat about this, about the what or anything that you noticed, observed?
I think I would like track a lot, to be honest.
Mhm.
I don't know if we're out of the
Yeah.
5 minutes done, but what I want to track is where I met them. Some interesting
Yes.
facts. I want to have a tag on that. Who is this
Mhm.
person in my life? Is that a lead or a friend or just a contact?
Mhm.
The last contact that I had
Mhm.
with them and about what,
Mhm.
especially also about what. I mean, because I
Mhm.
want to kind of like um, then also the next contact date, so that I get an
Mhm.
alert when I should think of them again if I haven't done that before.
And now I
Uh,
update
um,
little notes.
yeah,
Mhm.
their preferred contact point or method, like LinkedIn or is this somebody who lives nearby and I can, or I mean, have a coffee or whatever. And also who else they connect with. For instance, if they're in the Chamber of Commerce and they're like, and that want to know and
Mhm.
it's again the same thing. And I kind of like makes me realize that if in my search for a system, I think I can push aside all the sales CRMs or
Right.
sales pipelines because this is not. I mean, maybe they end up in a sales pipeline, And maybe they end up in my client list, but that's not
Right.
my
Right.
focus, right? Maybe I say this because I'm building on a new type of clients. So, maybe that makes it a bit easier or, or a bit more fluffy, let's say, than if you have like a set process where you think, okay, I'm going to research somebody, send them a cold email, they go through a pipeline, and in the end, they're like, either interested or not interested, and if they're not, then they kind of like, I don't need to follow up anymore.
Mhm.
But this is not the kind of
Yeah.
relationships that I have right now.
Yeah, so definitely there are tools and workflows and whatnot that are dealing with a higher volume and building in a lot of automation in kind of what you're talking about. But then there's also tools and platforms and workflows that are better suited for high value or high touch businesses, which I think all of us are in that type of business. It doesn't mean that we might not use some automated campaigns or some of that stuff, but largely we're dealing with more high touch strategies here. So that resonates. And I like the list of things that you like the what you want to keep track of. It definitely yeah, is
I
a lot
forgot a
deeper what you
photo,
want to
Rick.
keep track.
I
Ah,
forgot a
photo.
photo because I don't remember faces.
Hmm. That's a good one too.
Oh, that's smart.
Hmm.
Okay, so
Good one.
basically, I want his one. I want your
Yeah.
template.
I know, I do too.
Yeah. Yeah. Your list, Stephen.
Yeah, the only thing I
Um,
added extra was having easy links. So having their main links in there
too.
so I can just click to click.
mhm.
Yeah.
And I can kind of see how this can get a little overwhelming already. Like
Yes.
just talking about this right now, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this could
Yeah.
get so. And I think that's why we just go, we can't do it, because it
This
does
is
feel
why.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's good to
Yeah.
talk it through, but I
Or
could
you
see
start
that.
Yeah, or you start off like, "Hey, I have a plan. I got this." And then you're Markel, and at the end of the week, you're like, "Yeah, I just met 150 people this week." Like, "Oh my God, what do I do?"
Yeah,
Right? It's
yeah,
like,
exactly.
"Where do I
Yeah.
start? What do I do?" So, all
Mhm.
right. So,
Yeah, I
okay.
I found it helpful to just kind of thinking through this, and I've never really broken it down like this. But as we were doing the exercises, just I've definitely come more of I don't want multiple systems, so I want everybody that I can track in one. So whether it's personal or business or whatever, so everybody gets it's more about the process of getting to meet people that you meet into the CRM, of sending them a note, following up, connecting on LinkedIn, and then being able, to your point, track easily in it. So less opportunity management, although it would be
Mm,
nice to see some opportunity management if that's possible, but it's
yep.
not the most it's not the biggest worry for me. It's more like, again, just tracking conversations, tracking so that we as connectors can we can quickly pull up who does what so that we can make that connection there, or if therefore create opportunities for business or
Yep.
referrals or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is good. I'm excited to keep going. Okay. I'm gonna jump to the next one, which is the action. Oops, I didn't jump to the screen. Yeah. So we kind of did. But yeah, so we write the name or what's their business name, how you met, conversation notes, the follow-up date frequency. We kind of talked about that. Um, the status, we kind of did that. Status can be also status and category. It's a situational thing and everybody organize it a little bit differently. Sometimes they're overlap and sometimes not. And then the tags. Stephen, you also mentioned tags. Okay, so where? So we had who, we had what, and now where. So this is when we get to the fun part, right? So number one, we want to avoid tool overwhelm because, like Stephen had already mentioned, as soon as you start looking, there's like a million, and then God forbid you search for it, then you're gonna get 8 million messages. It's gonna follow you everywhere in your Instagram and everywhere. All the different tools are gonna be, and then it's so easy it's like, and it makes sense. You want to look, oh, how about this one? How about that one? And it can be overwhelming, and next thing you know, you're going down a rabbit hole. So we want to avoid this tool overwhelm. But we also want to look at how can we get started now? Like, what can we just do? What can we just get rolling with what we have today? So the idea is to commit to one platform for the next 30 days. This is the plan. Okay. And so here are a couple of suggestions. So number one, Notion. I'm not going to go through all of them, but just Notion, and maybe you already have one, but Notion or Trello are good for visual organizations. Dex is the one that I use. HubSpot is what I know Markel has currently. HubSpot has a free plan as well, although the Dex one I think is quite affordable. Google Sheets. So I'm going to share with you a very simple template that you can certainly get started with. And I recommend even just using it to test out and try to use it to help create some workflows for yourself. You can also rock some pen and paper if you feel so inclined. Or, like I said, maybe you have a tool already that you really like, etc. So what I'm going to do is, let's see here. I'm going to grab the link to this one that I'm going to share with you. Let's see here.
If we're using Google Sheets, then Airtable might be a good option because it has the similar functionality, but it allows us to import photos as well.
Yeah, Airtable. Yeah, I should have included that. All right, so I just included that in the chat.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I'm a huge
Yeah.
Airtable fan. Go ahead.
That's what I'm missing in Google Sheets. You're putting photos in there, and also it's not so easy to filter on labels there. If you have more than one label per person.
Hmm. Yeah, interesting. So you guys were all able to access that. Perfect. Okay. So this is the idea.
Oh, I
Let's
thought
see
I'd
here.
opened it. I didn't open it. You moved.
Oh, did I? Do you have it?
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
sure I did.
So, all right. So the idea is for everybody, if you already have one set up and you want to use that, then, certainly you got to do obviously what works for you. But if you're like waffling and not really sure, or you just started, I recommend just start with this, and you have edit access, obviously, or make a copy of it. You'll see on the this tab 2, I think at the bottom, it shows you how to copy the file, and then go for it and change anything you want. You can do a thing to upload, whatever you want to do. But just as a starting point to help you organize, so you see what are you dealing with. I promise if you do this to start, it's going to make it so much easier for you to decide what I want to call your forever home, but like what CRM tool do you actually need? You'll have a better idea of how you want it. It's just do the work here before you then try to build into any type of another tool. And also, you might start doing this and realize, you know what, this is sufficient for me. Because it's really not about the tool, it's about the consistency with which you use it. And the simpler it is, the more likely it'll be that you'll continue with it. Right?
Jillian, can I ask
Okay.
a question?
Sure.
You mentioned Google Sheets. That's like the Google Excel, right? That's the
It's Google. Yeah, Google. Yeah.
is there any benefit to using that instead of Excel? I know that sounds like very old fashioned probably, but I was just wondering.
Well, to me,
you-
I like it because it's always because I don't have to save a version or anything like this. It's just always on the cloud. It's accessible everywhere. Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. I haven't used Excel itself in so long.
I use Excel for my Go, Stephen. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm using the Google Suite, whatever. Yeah,
Yep. Sweet.
because it's easier to pull up on your phone also if needed. So it's, I mean, or on different computer or laptop. Plus, I kind of like have in the back of my head that one day in the not too distant future, I'm also gonna get a VA, and then you need to be able to share stuff. And if you already organize your things in
Yep.
Okay.
Base or in Google, it's a little bit easier to get that stuff organized.
Yeah.
I think I have the exact opposite, where I'm alone and I'm planning on staying that way with my business, and I have all my financial stuff to keep track of my clients in Excel. And that's where I really see my historical, or my client data and what they bought when, and where I put my prospects in for the future. And it's not very efficient, but maybe I can do the same thing that you're doing with Google Sheets to then duplicate that in Excel, since that's where all my information is there already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you already have it
Yeah.
set up there, absolutely. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Steven. Sorry.
Yeah, no, the advice I always get is like, pick a tool and then just go all in with it. If you're in the Microsoft
Your system. Yeah.
systems, yeah,
What I don't know, and I'll ask you guys later if anyone knows, the fields are so limited, and I have so many things I want to keep track of. And I don't know if Google Sheets allows you then to have larger fields without screwing up the whole spreadsheet. This is where my problem is. It's just not made. Excel's not made for what I want to do with it.
Yeah.
Sheets
To also leads to a point.
Yeah.
Sheets isn't either. No, Sheets isn't either. It's for numbers, not for text. We use it for text, but it's not made for it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think Airtable could be a good option for you, Kath. Or even Google Sheets. I mean, with the Google Sheets, you can hide certain fields. But it is true. You can have images and that kind of thing. But either way, I mean, you can pretty easily move back and forth from Excel to a Google Sheet. And then with either of those, you could import it to Airtable, and you could use the free version of Airtable, and then you have it's like a Excel on steroids kind of a thing.
Wow.
So we can get into that, but as a starting point, either use what you have, or you should be able to copy this, and you are able to access that Google Sheet.
Yeah.
All right, super. Okay, so then we're going to jump into the next piece, which is like the most important part of all is this part, is building the habit, right? Because as we've talked about, literally the system only works, like we're trying to build this so that we can be more sustainable and consistent with our relationship management, right? And continuing to nurture relationships, not just tomorrow because we're excited about it and maybe the day after. We want to still be doing this 3 weeks later, 3 months later, and 3 years later. And as we go, we'll fine tune things and whatnot. So the starting point now is literally the action for this is to go into your calendar, and we're gonna first you're supposed to choose. The suggestion is to either spend 15 minutes a day on this, or 1 hour at the end or the beginning or during the week. So 1 hour a week or 15 minutes a day. So who's gonna do 15 minutes a day? All right. Who's gonna do 1 hour a week? Haley, anybody else?
Is doing nothing. I didn't raise my hand. I'm like, oh no. I think there's not enough hands. We're missing.
15 minutes a day.
Sorry.
Here.
What's that?
15 minutes a day. I didn't raise my hand.
Okay, that sounds more. That sounds less intimidating to me, honestly. It's been an hour a week.
Get down.
Yeah, it's recommended to do it because even it's just helping to build the habit quicker, and just getting started in 15 minutes goes very quick. But even if you only literally set your clock and you're like on it in 15 minutes, that's it. By doing this consistently, I guarantee you're going to have results, and it's going to happen. But this is the classic, eating the elephant thing, right? You just start to chip away at it. Go ahead.
Yeah, could you not do like after every interaction, spend like a minute, 2 minutes, doing the updates?
Everybody thinks that. It's a very common thing to think, and if you want to give it a
But
go,
it's not
go
realistic.
for it. It for me, it has never really worked out in a consistent way, because sometimes I have back-to-back meetings, or then I have
Oh,
to go
yeah.
to the restroom, or like whatever's going on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
But Jillian, this is once you get all of your contacts are in, and then this is like the maintenance, right?
No,
Or
no, this is starting today. Like right now today, this is just all the things. CRM, we're going to work on for, 15 minutes a day.
Gotcha.
And you can start with the people you have in contact with now.
Correct. Yep. Exactly. So now
we
that
have
you
to
all
add each
know-
other. We have to add
Yeah, so we should edge each other. Yes, make it easy. Make it easy.
Yeah.
All right. So then this is what we're going to do. Here are the suggestions about how to spend your time. So actually, no, I should have gone backwards. So I jumped too quickly. So the action from the last one is to literally go into your calendar right now. Everybody really do this. And to schedule 15 minutes, unless you're going to do the hourly thing, 15 minutes in your calendar every single day as like a recurring thing. Or you can just do, I sometimes do recurring Mondays, recurring Tuesdays, so that I have themes for Monday, whatever, however you want to set it up. But anyway, for right now, simple, schedule 15 minutes on your calendar every single day. That's non-negotiable time. So this is what you're working on. So set it up at the beginning of your day, or maybe you're doing it during your lunch or like the end of your day, whatever it is. Schedule it. Capiche? All right. Thumbs up when you're done. All right. 2, 3. There you go. Terry? Kath?
I'm working on it, but I promise I'll do it.
I'll wait for you. We'll wait for you.
Oh my
What's nice
goodness.
about putting it in the calendar, you can just move it around.
Yeah. So you know it's that. Don't tell Jillian that.
Yep. It's every day, though. It should be there. Because this next step, now that you have that in here, for those of you who are done, Kath, you're going to continue adding it to your calendar. Now you look at perfect. Now you look at our next slide, which is the suggestion about what you're going to spend with that time. And this is going to evolve in the weeks ahead, right? But to get started with, you look at like, where are we? Oh God, here we go. Yeah, so complete the scheduled follow-ups, right? So here's the thing. So straight away with the list that you already have, see the people that you listed, or if you look at who are the most important people that you really need to touch base with, right? And we talked about who do you want to keep in touch with, what do you want to keep in touch with, when, right? So now we're going to look at some of the people that when is the next time that you should reach out to somebody on your list that you put down? And then you can literally go into your calendar and add them to that day, right? So like somebody that you met today, you're like, oh yeah, they're really great. I should follow up with them. Yeah, probably in a week. Great. So what does that mean? Is that next Monday? Oh, okay. Or is it Tuesday? Whatever. Then you start to look, oh, it's a holiday. Oh, and now it's in your calendar. And when you start to do this to plan ahead, you get into a good place because then you show up for your CRM that day and you already have, oh, these are the people I'm following up with today. Does it make sense? Yeah. So
it makes it sound really simple,
yeah, it's just
which is
getting
good.
started.
And it's
with it.
good. I'm saying that seriously. I mean, it feels good. It feels doable
Yeah.
for sure.
So literally, it's just literally getting started. This is like creating new muscle and just creating a new workflow. And really, it's also a discipline, right? Because we all want to have it nice and tidy, but it doesn't get there on its own. We can build it, but we have to maintain it, right? So that's what that is. And then, so we're starting that. So complete the whatever scheduled follow-ups you have on any of the given days. And then maybe if there's still time in your 15 minutes, then you're going to add some new contacts to your CRM. This is your question, Kathy,
Okay.
right? You're going to add maybe 3 to 5 more. Maybe
So that means like
starting
going back and adding people that, okay,
correct.
like you a
Correct.
couple of months ago or whatever. Okay.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Yep. So starting to pull, maybe you're like, oh, I've got this whole list. Great. So you could, if you want to get super fancy, you could export and import. You're like, wow, I made quick work of that. Whatever it is, you're just trying to work 15 minutes a day, right? So adding some new contacts manually or importing them, whatever it is, make a new connection, right? Or nurture, or make a new connection or send a nurturing message to somebody, at least one a day. And then if you have time left, right, review your schedule from last week to make sure is there any that I missed. And then, any action items from people that you met last week. Does that make sense? So when you're looking at it, it's like, oh, okay. But can you see that if you just are working at this and if you do this every day and you set your little kind of egg timer, 15 minutes, and you work on this, you'll start to get into a rhythm and it'll become, dare I say, fun.
Brilliant. May I ask a new question, another question?
Yeah.
Is this primarily for people, new contacts? So I'm getting the feeling that this is for new contacts. It's a way to keep track of new contacts so you don't lose touch with people. I get that. And I need to do that as well. But for me, my biggest problem is all my old contacts. They have a client and there'll be new employees and I have I have a new person at that company and I have to make sure that I know what they bought and when. And I just find, for me, it's not so much the keeping track of the people as much as the information that goes along with the people. And maybe I'm just missing something. I feel so dense about this whole thing.
No, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you're also looking for the CRM, but also wanting to log the sales, like the client side of things as well.
Yeah.
So that's fair to do that as well. And so maybe you'll add a tag for people that are customers or clients. And so then you have those, so there's different ways that you could organize it. But to go back to your original question, this is for new contacts, but it's also for your past contacts too,
Okay.
to be able to go back through and see, like, so the way you have it set up, cross-reference what you have set up with what we just talked about to see, and then how are you using that information, and is it making its way to your calendar?
All right.
So this is the idea, is to be able to, like, literally, so it's not realistic that you're going to spend 16 hours in the next 2 days going back over all of your customers for the last 26 years, right?
Yeah.
But the idea is just to start to chip away at it to make sure that you have somewhere that how often should you be keeping track of them, right? And so I like, yeah, it's one of those things. I want to say I like Airtable because I've become quite familiar with it, but you could then set it up and then have all of the people that have the tag customer show on a screen just themselves. So you can see all of your customers. It's much more dynamic and interactive and easier to be
Yeah,
able
I'll
to
take a look.
sort. Yeah, sort and segment.
Thank you.
But something like that. And then you could even upload their purchase orders and all of that straight into
Okay.
it. So then you can look at everything all at once.
Cool.
That could be useful.
Thanks.
Any other questions? No. Okay. So, boom, 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 getting started. All right. So I've jumped ahead again. So there it is. There's your tool to, like, at least get started. So what are the thoughts so far? Looking at this other tool. I keep losing my mouse. Here she is. Okay. You guys had a quick look at this. I see some of you are in here now. I just added a sample one at the top. Does this make sense? The way it's set up? Any questions about it?
Talking about the Googles,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, the
Sorry.
starter template. Yep.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Took a look at that. Yeah.
Just
Okay.
anybody have questions? Is it at least feel like makes sense to at least to start to look at what you have going on, or
Yeah.
maybe?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I do for sure.
Pretty simple, similar to what
Better than what I already know.
It's pretty similar, Stephen, too?
to what I had in mind. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so a lot of the categories you mentioned are here. So there's not a thing to upload the photo, but it has a thing. Yeah. Oh, I think did we miss the links? Yeah, we did miss the links. Like they're
We
linked.
can add
but-
something, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
But yeah, where you met. It's like, it's interesting. One of the things that I've learned over time, just a little, like, hint, is that the more you use drop downs, the easier it is to then be able to go back and look and see how many people did I meet at an event? How many people did I meet at that event? How many people did I, like, etc. It's a great way. It's easier to then do searches when you're using drop downs as opposed to just free form writing whatever you did that day. Do you know what I mean? So that's where you met. So always, yeah. So I always try to, and also because I've been working with clients for 25 years, trying to minimize human error and also minimize, like, even myself. If in Kath, you might be like, it's only me doing it. It's great. Sometimes we're tired or we just do abbreviations and later we're like, what was that? I don't even know what I was writing or typing, But again, also we're trying to record all this stuff to then make it accessible to us. And so that we know who to follow up with and when, but it's also from a data standpoint, it's really cool to be able to, look back and see, where you met them or et cetera. How many people do I have right now? If you look at the type of contact, how many, referral partners do I have? Hmm. It's like this stuff, you start to see how it can relate to your overall business goals, right? It's like, oh, I want to get more. Everybody will say, oh, I want more referral partners. You can say, great. How many do you have? I don't know. So you want more. How many more? Do you want 3 more or do you want 30 more? It's like, it sounds like a little tongue in cheek, but this is what I was saying earlier about we want to feel good and enjoy, but we also want to have results. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So can I ask a dumb question?
No such thing.
When you talk, like when you're talking about creating labels, like are you suggesting like when we go to an event, creating a tag or a label for that for the drop down menu, so we say we connected with all these people at this event, so that then you can do a search for events?
That's what I do.
Categories?
That's what I do.
Well,
Yeah. So I do a tag for whatever the name of the event is. And then it's like called naming governance, whatever. So I do the name of the event, the city, and then the year, or month year if it's a frequent one. Yeah. So I do that because then it helps me because I also like to know where I met somebody.
Yeah.
So I have this where I met them. But then I also have a tag so that I can go back and see because it might be the case that, it's been 6 months since that event I went to. Huh. Let me circle back to the people I met at that event and ask them, hey, by the way, have you started with the AI thing yet or whatever? Once you have this, you can start to be really creative. And this gets into like one of my favorite things ever, which is like the relationship strategy of doing this kind of stuff. But you got to have this part first before we can get into like the fun part.
What do you do with that information once they become a client then? Because that spreadsheet looks a lot like, okay, this is how I'm keeping track of all my contacts. But then once they become a client, then you're going to have a whole different kind of setup.
Yeah.
Do you
Exactly.
use the same sheet, or do you then move to a different sheet that has different categories, not categories, different headings?
So probably it would be, which is why I was saying for you, something like an Airtable might be more
Yeah, okay.
useful. But because what you're looking for really is the management of the data associated with a contact, and you're also
Doesn't
looking for
everybody
the
though,
action.
or
Yeah,
you don't?
but when you're dealing with customers, though, there's going to
Okay.
be perhaps a bit more,
Okay,
depending
gotcha.
on. So it's where I was saying is like it's also the activities associated with.
Right, right,
So if
right,
it's
right.
so if it's customers, you might maybe your frequency is like you're going to be in touch with them, every week, or you're going to collect all the data. But then it also starts to look at, and this becomes a bigger conversation too. But the relationship between your CRM and your project or product management or
Yep.
project management and some of
Okay, yes.
this piece. And then you also looking at like things marketing automation and yada yada. But for simplicity reason, for now, just to kind of get the ball rolling here, is like we're
Gotcha.
looking at keeping all of your contacts information in one place and making sure that you are actively in there and working on it 15 minutes per day.
Okay.
And so making sure you're pulling the dates from what's going on and adding it to your calendar
Gotcha.
at a minimum. And this is like a bit of a manual way to get started, but just to get started. And then we're going to pick it back up in a few weeks. Fair?
Mm. And
Steven?
Julian, would you suggest combining it like Kathy's saying? Like for example, for me, for my use, I'm just doing it for like networking and for relationships. When someone becomes a client, for me, they move into Dubsado for
Mhm.
that process stuff.
Mhm.
And then I have the project management tools for the work that we're doing.
Yep.
Do you suggest using this kind of framework to continue maintaining the relation? Yeah, like how do you suggest using that? Because I think they're
Yeah.
separate. For
Yeah.
me, they're
I
separate.
think so.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, your interaction with your customer is going to be different. I mean, it's still a relationship. And so you still want it to be managed. So I think you can do it either way, as long as, I don't mean to be redundant or oversimplify it, but it's also kind of true. As long as you're proactively working on this and then building in the system is so sometimes with some of those tools, you can automate some of the things, like depending on what your customer is, how often you want to talk to them. Like, yeah, what are your touch points with them? Is it sending them a birthday card? Is it sending them a survey after you have a deliverable? Like what touch points? Because that's the point. Is like you've got the relationship part, but then you've got some of the project management part. So I think you could run all of that through like an Airtable situation. But to your point, you're not going to have your neighbors and the people that you met at the local business thing in your Dubsado,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So I think it's fine to have your business, like your business customers are going to be treated a little bit differently. Maybe they have their own tab or their, whatever. So you can upload all of their information. So I think it's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Steven, you had a question?
Yeah, I just it's like Ineke says, the moment they are clients, they probably move into a different kind of like flow until
Yep.
until your contract is done, and then you move them back into the nurture
right.
part, right?
Yep.
Because you also want to avoid that you have a client you're working with, and then you kind of like maybe in the future use this table to send automated messages or campaigns. And one thing I hate is when I have bought something already, and then I still get an email about like, hey, do you want to buy this? And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, you
exactly.
bought this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm
Exactly.
kind of like maybe yeah. I try to make sure to avoid stuff like that, but yeah.
Yep. It's definitely the case. And also, if you have a prospect, again, kind of going back to what Steven said earlier, you might build a drip campaign. You might have that. So if you have prospects, maybe they're going to get an email series or maybe, you know what I mean? So you can build those things in as well. But we're just trying to get the simplest
Yeah.
part started so that you're moving forward. Is some of this making sense, Kath? Well, actually,
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna go to you now. We're gonna flip to the next. Where's my mouse? We're going to the next one. We're gonna go to the most important part, which is the experience and the results, right? So this is what we are with One Handshake Community. We're trying to help enhance the experience of each other, but also help hold each other accountable so that we have results. Does everybody feel like that's a good use of our time and what we're all about? A little kiss and a little kick? Yeah. Okay. So here we go. Kath, you're in the hot seat. So what we're gonna do to wrap this up, okay, is
Wow, look at the
What?
time, Jillian. Wow, I think we're on it.
I know. I know. So it's perfect. I'm actually quite proud. We're at slide 14. There's only one slide left. Woo! Okay. So here, see. So this is what we're gonna do with this part of our time here. We're gonna Stephen kind of alluded to it, but we're gonna go around each person and share what is your primary objection right now? What is your brain stuck on right now? So Stephen shared his earlier, but right now, what are you thinking? And then we together are going to help you reframe it. Right? Because we already agreed that we're here so that individually we can take a step, move the needle in our CRM game, but we also are operating as a group here. So we want the same for each other. So we're going to help each other reframe where we're at. Where's the sticking point? And you are the lucky one that gets to go first.
Are you asking me? For you guys already solved it for me actually, because my sticking point was that with CRM in my mind was always like the relationship management, which is for me, I've got 25 years of clients who are they become prospects when they're not buying, and it's just trying to keep track of so much information. It's for me, it doesn't fit neatly into a spreadsheet, but hearing what I have heard, I've got a lot of ideas now of what I can do. And if I stay in Excel, like I think one of you guys suggested, is to have just a separate tab for each client, then I have unlimited space where I can put all of the last bits of what I want to record, So you've solved it for me already. So you've given me the insight. So thank you.
All right. So full speed ahead for Kath.
Yes.
All right.
Is that a yes or no question?
Yeah.
Sure. Yes. Definitely. Definitely. I really appreciate everyone's insight. Thank you so much.
Okay. So you have your 15 minutes a day booked?
I do.
Okay.
Shockingly. I don't know if it's going to stay where it is, but I put it in there. But I don't know how to get it out of Saturday and Sunday, so I have to. Well, no, it's on every day now. It's Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, mine is on that
Yeah, you
too.
guys-
Mine's on there too.
You guys are overachievers. Like, come on already. All right.
No, I just don't know. I just don't know how to not do it right.
This weekdays, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Okay. All right. So Kathy's good to go. Who's next? Who else needs a reframe? Markel, you're next on my screen.
Go for it.
No, I'm good. I mean, I'm a big believer in it. I think adding the 15 minutes with consistency, as simple as that is, I think that'll make a huge difference. Sticking with that. I think we're gonna continue to use HubSpot, but I'm gonna check out. I've never heard of the one you're using, Jillian.
Mhm.
I'm gonna check that out. Like I said, I think my biggest thing is just contact management. I don't need opportunity management as much, but contact management.
Yep.
And then what's the, like you said, app integration maybe
Yep.
with LinkedIn potentially.
Yep.
And then anything, I think Stephen was talking about this before, like separately, like I would never market or mass market to this list. I
Yep.
would add people to something else that would be more email friendly or more from a marketing
Yep.
perspective. That would be just a completely separate tool for me. But so yeah, I'm ready to go. I think like I said, other than taking the brain damage of switching completely to another one,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
of course just the process, right? Well, these are
Yeah.
things you want to do because I meet, to your
Yeah.
point, a lot of people,
Yeah.
and I don't have a great process for getting them all in. I will put them in because it's convenient for me on Wednesday and I do it, but I may not do it again till the next Sunday or till Monday, whenever it is, right? So
Yeah. 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 So was it helpful for you? Do you already have categories or like how you bucket your contacts? Like, do you already have that laid out, or is that something that you could benefit from retooling?
no, I think that grouping it, sure, but I still want everybody. I want everybody on the same. I don't want like the less the better to me. So if I get everybody on this platform, and then when I need to look somebody, because my connections don't need to mean business, right? So if I've just
Yeah.
kind of connected with people, and because they're in my world and they're in my group, then I want all the
Mhm.
same. And then, but I think helping what to track, just
Mhm.
think was helpful. So what to track and batching them and figuring out, okay, can I have these specific categories? Because I just haven't done that. When I look back on my calendar, it was a little all over the place. I just meet with all these different people,
Yep.
but more
Yep.
intentional and say, hey, I'm going to proactively reach out to this group. So I
Yep.
dominate my, the focus versus people just booking time. And I've got, my sister
Yeah.
or my cousin
Right.
or whatever,
Right.
right? That's
That's an example because once you have this, then you can look at, okay, so for this profile, I want to be in touch with them once every 3 months. That's
Yeah.
sufficient. So that's why, even if you're already using something else, or you already have plans to use something else, I recommend at least spend like the next week or so playing around with this sheet here, copy it and make it your own so you can start to look at, because sometimes we think it, but then when we start to do it, it's a different experience. But because it's really important to know what is the frequency, like how often you want to interact with these people. It's a really important piece. And then you can start to see some of them are like every week, some of them are once a year. So I think that's an important piece. And then, yeah, I mean, we could talk more. Hopefully we're going to reconvene as a group and talk some more, but the tool that I use, it pulls in, also shows a map so I can see all my contacts in certain areas. It's like there's a lot of cool features. Yeah, and it also integrates with LinkedIn.
what I like, but it's also like a little cumbersome. It's not, it's clunky. And they add enhancements. I just use a free version, but they
Yeah.
add enhancements over time. Um, but there's some things out there that is a little quicker, maybe just in terms of populating that type of stuff would be helpful. So I'm always open
Okay.
to better tool. But I do like simple. I like sit like
Mm.
us in my-
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
Agreed.
Terry, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm feeling really positive. Again, I felt overwhelmed by this whole process. I know Inika and I have talked about getting together and talking about it. So, yeah, like I said, it makes it seem very doable and approachable, which I'm super happy about. So, yeah, I'm excited to get started, and and we'll see where we're at next month. Yeah, we just got to start. So, and I know now that I have you all that I can reach out to if I need to, and that's always a
Good.
great thing too. So, and same here for me if anybody wants to reach out. But yeah, I'm excited. I think this is great. So, thank you.
Good. No reframe needed? No, like
That-
you're not stuck in the back of your mind,
Um,
but wait, like, no?
No, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
All right.
And then once I'm doing it, there may be some questions, but we'll see. But right now, I'm feeling really, really positive about it. So it's good.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, Haley.
Okay, I feel hamstrung between like it feels like the free tools and the free options are going to be too clunky and take up too much time, but I don't want to pay for a paid tool. And I also don't want something automated that's going to pull in a bunch of people that I don't need in the system. So
Mhm.
I'm sort of I'm sort of stuck knowing that I'm going to need to probably manually manage this so that I don't have a whole load of contacts in my CRM that I'm not going to be managing. And yeah, it feels like simple can't or free can't be simple and everything's
So
meh.
here's a quick suggestion. It's somewhat of a reframe, but probably a suggestion actually. Um, just for consideration. You could however you have your contacts now, is it feasible that there's some way you could export them? Or are they in email addresses, like they're all dispersed everywhere?
They're kind of everywhere. I could export email addresses from Gmail, but then I also have LinkedIn contacts that I would have
Okay.
to go manually pick and choose. So
Okay. So why not start there? Just maybe as a start for now. Let's just, one foot in front of the other. Use this template and, edit it as needed, but just start there and start manually just putting in the people that are your highest value, the people that you want to keep, and just start so you can start to figure out how do you categorize them, how often do you want to be in touch with them, like how do you want to be in touch with them, is it via email, like start to work on like what would be an ideal plan, and kind of build that, and that way as you get that laid out then you can just spend your 15 minutes a day adding more people to it, because you can really, I mean, just using this template, making a few, augmentations that are going to be suitable for you, it can be fine. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. If you don't want to run any campaigns or anything like that, just to have the information, you can use that. It's, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
But what?
Overcomplicating it.
Yeah, it's like just get started with it and just look at, okay, what are the categories people? Who are the people I want to have and how often? Just get started with it. Um, get started with it and then we'll reconvene and see where you are, and how it's going. And if you feel like, oh, this is working out, then maybe you'll be like, yeah, I've got this, I'm good. Or maybe you're like, let's migrate this. Maybe you want to check out an Airtable or see something else, or use Dex or whatever. Yeah. Steven, how about you? Do you need a reframe or where are you at? I know we're
No,
like 2
I'm
minutes over, but
yeah, I'm sorry. I'll keep it short. No, I'm just
right.
to
No pressure.
and I'm can think to myself if I ever need a paid tool, I mean, in a month I can actually see what I actually need.
Right.
If I need a paid tool, I can import probably. Plus, I also have the plan of making a newsletter, so that's gonna be one contact point for the
Yep.
the sleeping contacts, right? Who are
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. So then let's go to this last slide. I'm sorry, I'm 3 minutes over. So hopefully this is okay. I'll wrap up right now. But yeah, so this is where we're at, right? So what we're hopefully all walking away with is number one, a clear list of contacts to begin with, right? So we started off in the beginning listing out some of the categories and the people that were top of mind. So at a minimum, you've got some people to get started with. You have your calendar the past 2 months, just get it started. You have a CRM template to just begin using immediately. If for no other reason, it's just like a little bit of research. So you can just see what it's like for you and what you discover over the next couple of weeks. You have a plan now scheduled every day for you to continue to work on this. right? And we all know there's a lot of work. We're just going to take 15 minutes a day and that's it. And then the last piece is what I have now alluded to several times is what do you guys think of reconvening as a group in about a month or so in July to see how everyone is doing with their CRM and then maybe dig a little bit more into some Q&A, some strategy things. I ran into this issue, or maybe some people are ready to start exploring platforms. How does everybody feel about that? I'm going to stop recording if I can find my thing. Yeah. How does everybody feel about that?
Love it.
Yeah?
I love it.
Okay.
I love it, but I'm not going to be here. Unfortunately, I'm going to be with family in Canada. So, but I would come if we weren't going to be gone. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll make the promise to do it, and then maybe I can follow up with, and like we can be accountability partners if you're interested in that. Yeah. So if I wasn't going to be gone, of course I would, of course, be there. But
All right.
unfortunately,
So we'll also put all this recording and then some of the notes and all of our chat will be inside the platform as well. The newer platform that you haven't seen yet. So the new platform, it's just yeah, we're just actually Haley just got in. Stephen just got in too, and Inika's been there. So the other three of you, it's like, but fun. Yeah.
did you send it to us? Have you sent it to us yet? Oh,
It's
okay. Good. I was like, did I miss something?
It's probably
Okay,
gonna be
good, good.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's probably gonna be
Okay.
tomorrow. It's coming.
Okay.
venue.
It's
Okay.
quiet
Yeah,
in
yeah.
there.
Yeah, it's a
Awesome.
but
Okay.
that's where we'll be able to have the chat. So everybody's together, they can have the chat and share, hey, I found this and all of that stuff. But for everybody else that's interested, so there's going to be a follow-up email coming in your inbox now. So it'd be really helpful if you would be so kind as to retrieve that. Share some feedback about what you thought about this, what was helpful, what wasn't, etc. I'm always interested in that. And then stay tuned for further information about when we'll have session 2 on CRMs. Deal?
Super. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. You're amazing.
Thank you so
Good
much.
to see everybody.
Good to see everybody and
Thank
to
you
meet
for
new
being
people
here,
too.
guys.
So take care.
Good evening.
15 minutes a day.
Right.
Thanks, everyone.
Doing it. Done.
Thank you. See
Bye.
you, everyone.
See ya.